What is going on, everybody? MrZDawgSwag here, coming to you with my draft analysis for the CPBA. I had a really good time filming, well, not really filming, but just kind of covering the draft for both leagues in the CPBA. As you probably know by now, I'm in Division 1. I did a draft analysis for the Division 2 as well, though. But I'm really excited to be using this team. I think my draft is really powerful. I don't want to be biased, but I think I have one of the top 5 drafts among the 14 people that are in the league, at least the Division 1, of course. But I think that definitely this draft has a lot of power, and I think it can really do well this season. To be honest, I really don't have my hopes up. I think the competitiveness of this division is going to be really high, probably higher than last year. I'm for certain that I'm not going to go like 11 or 12-3 like I did last season, but I'm hoping that I can do well and get back to the playoffs and see if I can get myself a low end kind of a championship. But I'll just kind of go over the team that I picked up. The first mon I picked was kind of a mon that I was considering. I was considering it for a long time. Like, I had a lot of time to think about what I was going to do for my draft. And I just thought of this mon. I thought of Mew. I'm thinking, how am I going to build a team around Mew? And I kind of thought about it for a while, and I'm thinking, I don't have to build a team around Mew. Mew can be built into my team. It doesn't matter what I draft first. If I draft something second, then I can build my team around that. So I drafted Mew simply because I could use it for just about anything. It can be offensive, it can be defensive, it can pivot. It can defog, it can set up, hazards. It can do just about anything I need it to do. So that's really important for a team like this, and I'm really glad to have it. It's so versatile. Like, as you can see right here, I'm just scrolling through its moveset. Like, it has so much that it can do. Like I just kind of said before. Whoa, wait a second. Okay, never mind. Ooh, wait a second. Aurora Veil. I never even knew that I got Aurora Veil. Wow, that's just that. Wow, I'll have to think about that for maybe some big hail teams coming up in the future. But anyway, I picked up Mew just because it's very standard mon, hundreds all around, really good moveset. It's got a good ability, Synchronize. Especially for like defensive sets, if you try to toxic this thing, the user is getting toxic strike back, and then burn as well, and like paralysis and stuff like that. So it's really nice. Really works well with kind of the defensiveness of it. I mean, 100 defensive stats is always really good, and it can do just about anything like it wants to do. I mean, it can Calm Mind, it can bulk up, it can defog, like I said, it can fake out if you need it to. It can knock off, which is another big thing in league format. And like down here, you see it can pivot as well with U-turn and volt switch. So it's a really good mon. I'm glad to have picked it up first round, and I think it's going to do well. Like I said, it's going to be just something that binds to the team. It's not going to be the same every week, obviously. So we'll see how it works out, and hopefully it can bring us back to the playoffs, kind of as a team leader almost. Then for my second pick, I actually did not go in order here. I kind of just was putting them down. But my second pick was actually the Mega Venusaur. Now, I picked this up 2 seasons ago in the CPBA, where I had a 5-8 record, I believe. So I did go under 500 for that time. But I love Mega Venusaur. It's got a lot of options. You got EQ, so you can hit stuff like Magnezone for super effective damage. It also gets knockoff on this physical set. You can run Leech Seed sets. You got Stab Sludge Bomb, which you don't always get with your bulky grass types. Got obviously like Toxic. It can also set up Sword Stance, which is really cool. Sleep Powder is really nice to have as well. So Mega Venusaur just really does a lot as kind of like a bulky offensive sort of typing or whatever. And as you can sort of see, this is a pretty bulky offensive team, just in my first 6 picks or whatever. It also has thick fat, so ice and fire moves are not super effective on Mega Venusaur. The only thing I have to worry about really is flying and psychic moves. And another good thing too is you don't have to Mega Evolve first turn. You have to use your Mega Stone on your Mon. I don't know if you have to Mega Evolve at some point during the battle. I don't think you would have to, but you don't have to Mega Evolve. Just as long as your item is the Venusaurite or your respective Mega Stone, you're fine. And this is a nice thing to do because you have Chlorophyll. And you also have Overgrow too as well. It's like if you don't want to Mega Evolve and you have and you're outspeeding, like you take a big hit switching into this thing, which I don't know really why you would switch into this thing just beforehand, but you can like hit it off with a really powerful like a Leaf Storm or a Giga Drain or something like that. So it's a really good movement. Mon. I can also set up screens too, or at least light screen. But really good Mon. I'm glad to have it back. So I kind of just was thinking about my next Mon, and these were my 2 tier 1s. So these were the 2 big Mons it took. I got Mew for free, and then I got Mega Venusaur for 180 points, and you have 560 points, and you use them on 6 Mons, and then you have your free Mons in each tier. So these were my tier 1 ones, and then I went up trying to kind of just build my team. Again, like I said, I'm not building it around Mew. I'm building it just kind of around what I have. So I had the Venusaur pick, and then I immediately went off to Entei. I really wanted a fire type early. One thing I had struggled to do in the past few seasons is not getting a top tier fire type to say. I believe two seasons ago when I had the Mega Venusaur, I had Rapidash as my only fire type. So it kind of hurt me just in that sense because Rapidash wasn't a Mon that I brought. I think I brought it once, and that was about it. But Entei is a really strong fire type. It's got really good stats, 115 HP, 85 defense, and 75 special defense. So it's not the weakest Mon ever. I mean, it's got some bulk. I mean, this 115 HP helps it out a lot. And it's got a good speed tier at 100, and then a really good attack stat at 115. So this thing is more than likely just going to be running Adamant a lot. You can run Extreme Speed. You have option of Flare Blitz and Sacred Fire down here. This is also, actually I forgot to mention, Mew is one of my Z-Mons. You can have 3 Z-Mons per team. And I decided for Mew because obviously it can do anything you want it to do, and you can have like a really weird typing Z Crystal on there, and then you can just kind of throw them off with that. And then Entei was also my other Z-Mon because you can hit it with a really powerful Inferno Overdrive, or you could do something along the lines of, or you could do like a Rocky MZ or a Tectonic Rage with Bulldoze. Which is its main ground type move. And then the other one that I was thinking of as well was down here with the Bloom Doom with Solar Beam. So you see that a lot of Heatran sets, but not as much on Entei. But I think that you can definitely run it on an Entei because it can do a lot of damage. I mean, it doesn't have a bad special attack stat. It's in base 90. It's definitely not as high as its attack, but if you need something like for a bulky water that Entei can't handle, then you definitely have Bloom Doom for it. So it's really nice Mon. Glad to have picked up Entei. I've never actually used Mew or Entei in League format before. I actually don't think I've ever used Entei, like just playing around in like UU or OU or something like that either. So we'll have to see how it works out. But I'm glad I got these 2 picks right here. And then right after that, I went with the other legendary dog and I went with Suicune. And I like this Mon just because it's so bulky, and it continues to go with my bulky offensive team. Mew is obviously really bulky. Venusaur is also really bulky. Entei is not as bulky, but it still has some natural bulk with it. And then Suicune's got base 90 special attack, so not very bad. It could also be running Ice Beam and Hydro Pump, Scald, stuff like that as well. And it's also got a lot of really good defense too. So this is more towards the defensive side of my bulky offense, but it's really good. 100, 115, 115. So that's really good to have. And then base 85 speed is really fast for a bulky water. I debated going with Milotic, which is very familiar to me because I had used that 2 seasons ago in the CPBA when I had my Mega Venusaur. I couldn't quite get the Firewater Grass Core 2 seasons ago, but I did get it this time. And I'm really glad to have these 3 mons as my Firewater Grass Core. So this thing's really kind of a stally mon. You can easily bring it to just about every match, and it'll do you well because it can just sit there. It can Scald, it can Toxic, it can Rest, it can do anything you really need it to do. It's got Air Slash and Extra Sentry coverage for some. I mean, I guess Psychic would be for poison types, and then Air Slash for fighting types. I mean, I don't know. But you have options, especially on Suicune. And that was kind of the thing for my entire draft, was getting yourselves options. So I wanted a lot of versatility, and I think I got that with my draft. So I'm really happy with my first 4 picks. And Suicune was my first buy, so that cost me 120 points in Tier 2, and Entei was also Tier 2. And then I also went with my first Tier 3 mon, and I went with Jolteon. I really love Jolteon. I've had it the past... this is the 3rd season in a row that I've had Jolteon. I just really like it. It's such a good mon. It's so fast, and that's what I love about it, is like I can just do this, or I could even do like this, and I could put a Modest Nature on this thing, and it still outspeeds everything. Like right there, outspeeds base 100s. Like 132 speed is all I need to outspeed base 100s, and barring Choice Scarfers, nothing is going to outspeed this thing other than maybe like Tapu Koko, and Tapu Koko doesn't want to deal with Jolteon. Jolteon actually somewhat walls Tapu Koko, and it actually feeds off of Tapu Koko, so that's kind of a good thing for me. Obviously, Volt Absorb is his main ability. You also can run a Quick Feet set, like if you wanted to. Like I saw this one, I actually debated doing this last season, but running like a fully defensive Jolteon with like a Modest Nature, like something like that. And then like this is like essentially a Choice Scarf. So you have like, you essentially have like 450 speed just because you got statused, and it's really cool. So I love Jolteon. It's also one of my other Zmons. I can't do the Z Celebrate like I did the last season a couple times, but just having a powerful like just like a Thunder, like Electrium Z Thunder, like that does a lot of damage. You also have options along the lines of Shadow Ball and in Signal Beam, and then you have all your HPs. So you usually run an HP Ice, HP Fire, depending on your opponent's team. I also have some Cleric stuff like Heal Bell and Wish. So it's good mon. I love Jolteon. It's going to be back, and I'm glad to have it again. And then my next pick is MrZDawg. Now, I picked this up because I was wanting a ground type. I haven't had anything really that really sticks out that's like a big weakness on my team. I don't have any hazard setters here other than Mew. And MrZDawg is not a ground hazard setter, but it's so good in the fact that it has stamina. And I like that because I like to have a lot of special defense. If I can run special defense and HP and maybe like an adamant nature somewhat, then this thing is hitting hard and it's taking hits for days. Normally sets are going to be along the lines of close combat, EQ, heavy slam does a ton because it weighs so much. Rock slide, you also have superpower as an option. You can do like a rest set, which I've seen before. You got toxic. Not much down here, but it's a really good mon. It's so bulky. Like every time you get hit, like this is a great switch in for like a rapid spinner. Like if you take somebody, if you take a rapid spin to this, like you get automatic defense, and it's gonna do like two damage. So really good pickup there for MrZDawg. I really think that these mons like just make a team all together. Like I could see myself bringing all of these mons to every single match, and I would win. I just like the way that these mons work together, and it's just a really good team. So I'm glad to have those there. So now I'm going to switch to my bottom half of my draft, and I actually went with some pretty interesting stuff. I kind of put myself in the lower end of the tiers just by drafting a lot of by drafting a lot of high tier mons. But I went with Ambipom for my second tier 3, I believe it was. And I like Ambipom. I wanted a normal type. I like Ambipom especially because it's got fake out coverage, or fake out pressure. And it's also got a really good move pool too. Like, this is very extensive. It can U-turn, it can knock off. It's got Seed Bomb coverage for bulky waters. Ice Punch, Fire Punch. I believe this gets Thunder Punch. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, Thunder Punch. Shadow Claw if you need to hit Ghost types. Power Up Punch if you want to do that. Like Nasty Plot in case you want to earn like a weird special set. Acrobatics. That gets boosted by not having an item and by Technician. So really good mon. I love Technician. It's just really good ability. Especially since it's got a lot of base 60 and under moves. Like, Fake Out does a lot of damage. Just because it's base 40 move doesn't mean that this Technician isn't going to make it a lot stronger. It does make it a lot stronger. And this Speed Tear at 115 is like absolutely perfect. So I really like Ambipom. It's not bulky at all, but I really like its options. It's got a lot of options, like I said before. It's got a good attack stat, base 100. It's really solid. Like I said again, base 115 speed is really fast, especially when a lot of speed creeping happens in league format. So really glad to have Ambipom. I did have it 2 seasons ago in season 3 when I went 5 and 8 or whatever. I don't think I used it the way I should have, but I think I will be able to use it more effectively this time around. So I'll have to see how it works out, and I'm glad to have Ambipom back. Another mon that I've never actually used before, in league format at least, is Leavanny. And I was looking at my team, and this is a tier 5 mon, and I'm thinking webs would be half decent on my team. My team is actually pretty fast. Like, these mons are pretty fast. Like, when it comes to bulky offense, like base 100, base 85, 130, base 100. I believe this is 80. So it's a decently fast team for bulky offense. But I'm thinking if I want to really make my offensive part of my team like better, I could take webs. And I took webs really early, and I wanted to make sure I got the best web setter. I don't know if Leavanny is the best web setter, but it was the best web setter that fit my team. I get bug type coverage because of it. You're really not going to be seeing too much other than Focus Sash, but it does have a decent speed. Actually, this is probably the reason why it's one of the best setters. It's got base 92 speed. So outspeeds base 90s, and you can hit them back with something like an X-Scissor or a Leaf Blade. So it's got options, and then, like I said, you got like Magic Bounce or Magic Coat, and Poison Jab for a little bit of coverage. Fell Stinger if you really want to, like that'd be a really cool set. Like if you have your Focus Sash intact and you get a kill with Fell Stinger, then you get like +3. So that's actually pretty cool. But it also has Heal Bell for like kind of a cleric option. It also has knockoff, so it's really nice. But again, we're gonna see a lot of Focus Sash sets on here, just setting up webs. And it really does depend on the week. If I have a good matchup, if I don't need webs, I more than likely won't be bringing it. But if they got a fast team and I like webs in the matchup and I like Leavanny in the matchup, then I'll definitely bring it. So I like that option to have sticky webs on my team. So, and then we'll move on to my main hazard removal. I thought about drafting like something like a low tier rapid spinner like Cryogonal, because as you do see, I don't have any ice type stab on this team, but I thought about it and I'm like, I don't want to have Mew be the main hazard removal. And I was looking through it and I'm thinking, do I want to get like a tier 5 rapid spinner, which there are very little of those actually. But then I'm looking through it and I'm thinking, why don't I pick up Fortress? Because I was also considering Hazard Stack, and this thing is probably the best Hazard Stacker, maybe like aside from Skarmory. But this thing has T-Spikes, which Skarmory does not get. It's got Toxic Spikes, it's got Stealth Rocks, and it's got Spike. So it's really good hazard setter. and it's also good hazard removal without having to defog and get rid of the opponent's hazards. So it also, like I said, it has rapid spin. Gyro Ball is a good option because it's very slow. This thing is not really going to be hitting things for too much damage. I will say that in one league that was outside of the CPBA, I totally sniped a Magneton with EQ, and like he was totally not expecting it, and he thought he had me good. He trapped me with Magnet Pull, and I think he was just gonna pivot out like into something else. So he went for actually no, he didn't go for Volt Switch, but I think he went for HP Fire. It went down to my Sturdy, and I picked him off with EQ, and I had my rocks and everything else up. It was really cool to get that kill. So it's got some options, like if you really want to do some cheeky stuff. You have Rock Slide in case you want to hit like a flying fire type or something like that. Like you got like a Volt Switch of kind of a pivot thing. Like if you know they're switching out, you can go for Volt Switch and keep your stuff up there. So it's got a lot of good options. It's got a good defense stat, good Steel type to have, especially on a team like this. So it'll take hits well. It can set up Toxic and stuff like that as well. So it's good Mon. I'm glad I got it. I really had to think about using my points, especially because the last season I had like 4 tier 5s. And most of them did not do well. Other than Rhydon, I think, like I didn't use many of my other tier 5s too much. So I'm glad to have picked up Fortress, and I actually didn't have to use it all on my tier 5s. As you can see, actually my next pickup, I'll go to this one here first, was my second tier 5 in Liepard. And I was thinking about like what I wanted, and I'm like, I need a Dark type just so I can stop some Psychic types. Because I really only had Mew and Fortress for Psychic types already. So I picked up Liepard because I thought it would be kind of just a good cleric for my team. It's got some options. It's got, more than likely you're going to be running Fake Out. Like you can run an Encore set. You have Play Rough if you really need it. It's got Knockoff, which is always good. It's got U-Turn for pivoting. And then you got T-Wave. Which is another big thing, especially with Prankster. And I really wanted that on my team. You can actually also run Unburden. But I really wanted something that could kind of just get in there, get out, and really cripple the opponent's team. So I really like the idea for having Liepard. And it can also set up, what do you call it? Some various weather, like rain and sun. So in case I ever wanted to do some odd stuff with weather, I could do that. So I like Liepard. It's got some decent attack and special attack stats. It's got a good speed stat too, 106, outspeeds 105s. And I just like Liepard as a mon. I thought it was a really cheap tier 5 pickup, so I figured I would go with it and see how it works out. So actually, I think I said this before, but fun fact, Liepard was actually the only mon. Actually, it was my last mon to survive in a Nuzlocke I did of Black 2. It was the last mon. I got swept by a Dragon Dance Fracture in Drayden's gym, and Liepard was the last one to go down. So kind of holds a special place in my heart. Gen 5 was actually the generation I started playing Pokemon, so this was one of the early route mons, and it's kind of the one that I kind of, what do you say, grow up playing. So kind of cool to see Liepard on our team, and hopefully it does well this season. My next to last pickup was Mr. Mime. I was looking through my team, and I needed a fairy type so I can deal with some dragons. And I thought that most of the time we got dragons that are special attacking. So I got a good special defense stat here with Mr. Mime, although its HP does kind of cripple it. But I like it because it's got a decent speed stat at 90. It's not overly slow. Dazzling Gleam hits decently hard, although that is his only option for fairy type moves. More than likely, this thing's just kind of do some pretty memey stuff. Mime, yeah, you got it. But it's got like Trick and stuff like that, so it's gonna be like a lot of weird sets. It's got Magic Coat. It can set up screens as well. Healing Wish, which can be really clutch late game if I really need it to be. Baton Pass as well. So I like Mr. Mime in that fact. Filter's a decent ability to have. It's also got Technician for stuff like Hidden Power. So I kind of like Mr. Mime. It was kind of about the best fairy type I could get for the points that I had. I didn't want Carbink because Carbink is very easily walled and very easily set up on, so I didn't really want that. But I at least wanted something that I could be able to dish out a little bit of damage and also kind of distribute some stats and kind of just help out the rest of the team. So I picked up Mr. Mime. Hopefully it'll do well. I don't really know how it will do, but we'll see how it does. And then for our last pick, we got a tier 4, and I wanted some fighting type stab, especially something like close combat. So I picked up Sock, and I really do like Sock. Like I said, I'm a Gen 5, kind of, what do you call it? I was introduced to Pokemon in Gen 5, and actually the first episode of the anime that I watched was the Sock vs. Throw series. So I really like Sock. I never liked Throw. I thought Sock was infinitely better, so I picked it up, and I like its abilities. It's got Sturdy, Inner Focus, and Mold Breaker. More than likely, I'm going to be running Mold Breaker like in situational sets, like for, what am I thinking of? Electros. But Sturdy is also another option. You can run like a Choice Scarf Sturdy set, where you can hit hard with a close combat, take a hit, switch out if you absolutely have to, and then like just keep hitting it back and forth, again and again. And so I like it. It's got it's got decent coverage. It's got Poison Jab for fairies. Again, knockoff. It's got the elemental punches. It's got some good rock type moves. Zen Headbutt. I actually didn't know that it learned Zen Headbutt. But main move is close combat here, and also has EQ. So I like Sock. It's got a decent speed stat. I believe it's 80. Ooh, actually 85. So it's got a lot of attack. It's not taking too many hits with its 75 defenses, but it's obviously not running a special attack set. But I like Sock. Like I said, I've had it used against me, so this was kind of a pick where it benefited my team and it couldn't hinder my team. So I picked it up just because of that reason, and I like the way that it kind of binds with my team. It kind of works. So it's a really good mon to have, and I'm glad that I picked it up kind of as a last resort sort of a kind of a pick there towards the end. But anyway, that kind of wraps it up for my team. Like, I think, again, like I said it before, I don't want to be biased, but I think my team is really stacked. I really like my team. I think it's got a lot of options, as I was wanting before. Obviously, when you start with Mew and you build around it, by not building around it, I really built around Mega Venusaur. I started with that Firewater Grass core. I didn't get a Dragon Steel Fairy core, only because I couldn't really find a dragon that I really wanted. But really, you don't need dragon typing. Like, I was looking through the stuff or whatever, and the only type that I really think I'm lacking is a flying type. Ground type moves kind of do me in. But other than that, like, that's the only flaw, like, to say that I can see. I have a good rapid spinner. I have good hazard stack. I have a few phasers. Excuse me. And I have like recovery options, like Mew can recover, Suicune has decent recovery, Jolteon can actually recover, Mega Venusaur can recover, and I think that's it. But still, like, these are my main mons. Like, the first 6 mons are the main mons that I'm going to be using, and then the last 6 mons are going to just be woven in as I see fit for the certain matchups each week. So I really like my team. I'm really excited. My first match is against Chundermunch and I forget his team name. I'm not sure, but that match should be up either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm trying to see about what my schedule's like. I am in the process of prepping right now, so we'll have to see how that works out for our first match. I did lose the first match last season to TDG, pretty much because of a roll, which I was pretty furious about. But hopefully we can start the season off well, get a win, and hopefully we can go a long way with this team. I think I really doubted myself, but after I drafted this really good team, I really think that we got a good chance. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. I need a lot of support for this channel if I want to keep videos coming up. So keep hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on any more CPBA action. And with that, I'm gonna say adios, and hopefully anybody you guys watching that are in the CPBA, good luck to you guys in the season, and I think we'll see you guys in our week 1 match against Chunder Munch. Peace out.